Hey guys, so giving you a little bit different view right at the moment because I had a little hiccup with my video when I took the phone off the stand to show y'all what we're working with. So decided, let's just start over. We're not far in and I'll give you this view. So we are going to be doing a Mod Podge and it's going to be a decoupaging of the back of this so that the little squares in here are different colors or are this paper that I have here. So we are going to do what we call a dry decoupage where we let the Mod Podge dry on both surfaces and then use heat to connect them. So I wanted you to see what this was. It's a little cabinet. I've already popped the back off. It looks really funky because of the way I took it off and everything. We're going to actually Mod Podge this part of it. I'm going to get you guys attached to my stand. Get us on the right track here. Okay. There we go. I'll scooch this back a little. So basically this is not exactly the size we need, but I can use this as kind of a measurement and know where I want to cut my papers or my paper. Now, I had done it. I'd measured it. I flipped it over. I traced my lines. It works out to be about here when I realized the video went off. And that when I took you guys off the stand, that I bumped a button and turned the video off. So, you know, it just wasn't meant to be, so we just start over. So like, we're going to cut the biggest piece. I have another sheet of this if I need to. I'm going to look. I don't know. The bottom part you're not going to really see because there's a drawer that goes in there. So I probably won't even worry about doing the bottom part just because drawers go in it and who cares what color it is. Basically, I just want this top part to be fully covered, and then this will all be hidden in there. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh, I like it. It's gonna look so good behind that blue. That blue is gonna look really good together. Okay, so now for this particular project, it doesn't matter if you have if you have glossy or matte. I combine the two words, you know, because ultimately it's not going to be seen, but so it's not going to matter. But what we're going to do, I have glossy open, so that's what I'm going to use. It's just a gloss Mod Podge water-based sealer glue finish. I am going to start by glossing up my wood piece with Mod Podge first, and then we will do the rest. We'll do the paper once our brush is full, because this will allow me to just do that and then move that around. And we are going to let this dry, mostly dry. Like, we don't need to have it full dry, but we are going to let this dry quite a bit before we just go and... There is this weird funky thing. I might actually seal the paper on the top part of this right side. Now, I do have my silicone mat down, so me going over the edge with the Mod Podge is not going to matter, other than when I lay my paper down, I'm not going to want that Mod Podge to stick. Now, I am trying to get our lines. I probably got a little much, but I'm going to try to get our lines kind of nice. I don't want these real thick pieces of the lines, because if we have too thick of lines, when it goes together, those are going to could show through as features of the piece, and we don't want that. If we were going for that look, then sure. So I'm trying to get my lines as even as possible. I am using a foam brush. You could use a regular brush. Just note that whatever brush you use, even if you wash it, you're probably only going to get a use or two. I mean, I've got one brush that I use with Mod Podge all the time. It's not very brushy anymore, though. That's the thing. You just got to know. Okay, so I'm going to move this over to the side. And I am going to take a paper towel, a little bit of our rubbing alcohol, just because it's a good cleaner. It will dry fast, and it will break that glue down really quick, so that we can set our paper on top of here. And we'll speed up the drying too by using a heat gun here in a minute. So this won't be like an overly long video per se, but I just wanted to show y'all while I'm working on this project in between resin what I'm doing. I'm not going to do a lot on here, I'm just doing a very thin amount. And again, I'm going to try to just get it as even as possible, get to my edges. You know, the thing with the paper part, you don't want to get too thick, because if you're too thick, you'll really start curling. I can already see that it's trying to curl some. Oh, this brush just broke. I heard the pieces break in it. Make it nice. And it's not going to take much to dry this, because I did a very thin layer. So this brush, though, given that it's a foam brush, I knew that it had been used for white paint before. I was just going to toss it. Now, I seal my Mod Podge with a plastic Ziploc bag. I put it down in there a little bit, and then I'll put the lid on top of it. It doesn't always perfectly align, but the idea is that it gets it really sealed. You can also use saran wrap, just something to give you that extra seal on the lids, and this will last forever. Like, I've been using this bottle for years, so it's definitely worth doing that. And I learned that trick early on with Mod Podging. So I am going to grab a heat gun, and we're just going to hit this with a little bit of heat. Like, just a low heat. Let's see where I sealed that. Some of the dry glue got on. Just a little bit of heat here. Dry up. When you're working with paper and you're concerned about crinkles and wrinkles with your paper, this is the best method, because it allows your paper to not absorb too much and is going to give you a more consistent flattened look. Now, Mod Podge dries clear in theory, unless you have it really thick, then it's going to dry white. I don't need this to be all the way dry though, so like I can see it's starting to clear up. It's getting drier in most places. If all the lines aren't clear and they're a little white, I'm not going to worry about it, because this isn't meant to be a clear project. This is hidden. This Mod Podge is hidden. That's why I said it doesn't matter if you're doing matte or glossy, or mossy, you know, combination, because you're not going to see it. The glossy gives it a shine. Matte gives it that dull look. I just didn't want to open another bottle of Mod Podge since I have this one open, and it doesn't matter. I'm not really worried about this end. If you notice, I haven't really put a lot of heat on it, because I'm really not worried about that spot. I just did it because I had the Mod Podge and I was already there. I was like, I might as well keep it consistent. But I'm not going to need it sealed up for this next part. So it's looking pretty good. I'm going with this a little bit more here. I'm going to go full blast with the heat gun. decent. It doesn't have to be perfect. You do want to keep moving it, just like a blow dryer. Because if you go in one spot too long, you could get it way too hot and catch it fire. Not overly likely with this small of a heat gun, but possible. It's pretty warm. So that's why you see me just really moving it around a ton. So, okay. Like I said, I think that is plenty. It's still got a couple of spots. Still might be a smidge tacky, but again, I don't need it to be like 100% dry. Now, our paper is pretty well dry. Like it's already dried. So, we're going to line it up. I'm going to line it up over here so that we're nice and flat. And because it's got a little bit of tackiness, I think I might have went over the edge over here a little bit. I'll use an X-Acto knife to clean up that edge. That's fine. This is going to be hidden anyway with the edging of it. But because it's got a little bit of tackiness, it now has sealed itself to one another, which is fantastic. But we need it to do a full-on seal. I thought that was my smaller Teflon, but I don't see my small one. So I guess we're going to go the bigger Teflon. Weird. I've had a few things that I'm like, things have been moved, and I swear it's not me. I'm going to blame my kiddos here again, because I'm like, I tell you what, I know that some things are not where I normally put them, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to get a Teflon sheet. This is just actually like an oven liner that you could use. I use this when I use my Cricut. It just protects when you're doing iron on things to not get too hot. Even though we want the heat, we're like, we don't want it to burn. And I am going to use, speaking of Cricut, my Cricut little mini press. It's got a little stand here to protect when I set it down for the hot. Of course, like an iron, this is going to get super hot. It goes really fast. I turned it all the way up, and it's going to heat up really quickly here, which is the handiness of using it. It's small enough. If I got out my bigger heat presses, I could probably do this in just like one little and be done. But by the time I pull it out, heat it up, do that, and then be able to let it cool and put it away, this will be just fine. It's not a huge project. We'll just run this over it and voila. If you do not have a Cricut mini press or a heat press or something of that nature, an iron works just fine for this. There's nothing wrong with an iron. I just find that this is so handy since I have it. So, catch them on a deal. Should be no more than 40 or 50 bucks. And like I said, they're phenomenal. It does have an auto shut off too. So like if I forgot to unplug it, it would automatically shut off after a certain amount of time. Yeah, that's kind of what it is. I'm a little surprised it hasn't beeped at me to say it's ready, but we are going all the way up. So, and usually when I'm waiting for it, I'm doing other things. I don't sit here and wait for it. I'm just waiting because tutorial, you know, those types of things, just minor details. And yeah, we'll run this over, and then literally that is it. It is that easy to do a flat dry decoupaging, like that easy, so easy. So if you wanted to do like the background of a picture frame or like matting of a picture frame, like a smaller frame, totally do that. Look, now it's green. It's kind of hard to see on the camera because it's so iridescent, but it's green and it beeped. So now we can just take this and go, it might stick a little bit, the Teflon sheet might, but we're just going over it. Now, and this allows, like, if you were going to do a napkin, this is a fantastic way to get those wrinkles out of your napkin. I would take your layers off of the napkin. I would iron the napkin before you add the Mod Podge, but then you could do the napkin and power off, and it's done. I would let that cool, though. Don't let it sit on your silicone. It will melt. Now, a little bit of stickiness here. I'm going to have to clean that up before I roll this back up. It's fine. That's why I wanted my smaller one. I have a smaller piece of that, but it's okay. And that's like for an oven, technically. That Teflon sheet was designed to go in the bottom of your oven, you know, to keep the base of your oven clean. That's kind of what that is used for. But look how crisp that looks on there. It comes out so crisp looking. It looks like wallpaper with no seams or wrinkles, which is fantastic. And that's the point. So we do have this edge that I need to clean up. I want to put this on something before I just straight cut. Let's just get this is what I use for the drilling of my things when I'm doing a resin. And basically I'm just going to take this X-Acto knife. I don't need to do much pressure because it's just a piece of paper, but I just want to trim that off. Make sure that it doesn't rip to the front. Give it a little bit more pressure. Okay. Nice. Nice. I might wipe this end off a little bit where it's see, that's still a little too much, which I'm trying to get it to where you guys can see, but it's just like a hair. Too much of the paper. I'm just trying to, it's not gonna really matter, but I just, you know, trying to have it kind of cleaned up. Okay, so let's put our lid back on that X-Acto knife. It got a little bit of glue, the Mod Podge. Might have a piece of tape or something on there. Goodness. Okay, there we go. And then for down here, just for the sake of this, so that it's done for me, I'll probably end up painting this the blue, just because I'll want it in case somebody, like I pull the drawers out or something, that it's more of a completed look. I'm just going to use a little bit of my rubbing alcohol, wipe that off a little bit, and that will finish drying. It's almost dry, but you can tell it's like picking on my napkin a little bit, so I'll let that fully dry before I paint it. But yeah, ooh, I have a cut clearly on my hand because that burns. A lot of burns. Okay, and that's it. So now when we put our little hutch on, if I don't knock other things over, look at that. That has that cute design in the back, and it's all cute. Let me show you this side, because you can't really see through the wire. Look at that. Look how cute that will be. I'll put that back on after I paint the bottom of it blue, and voila. So, hope you guys enjoyed that quick little tutorial. I know it's a little out of my norm, but like I said, I'm in the middle of this project, so just wanted to show you guys how to do a quick dry decoupaging if you're needing it. Alright, hope you guys are well, and I'll see you again soon. Bye.